Hello everyone, welcome back to Easy Peasy Photoshop. For today's lesson, we're gonna talk about the layer mask and we talk more about the layer panel, and finally we're gonna talk about the artboard. So let's start our today's lesson with the layer mask. What is layer mask? Alright, so just imagine that I have this image here and I want to blend this background with the other background that I have. So this is one layer and this is another separate layer. So what I'm gonna do, for example, I'm gonna choose my lasso tool, then maybe do it like that one, then give some feeder. Alright, for example, something like this. Then I go to my history and I bring back these parts that on her face that deleted. Alright, so just imagine I did this job and I save it. I save it as a PSD. For example, we edit 1. Okay. Now, if the day pass or you just close your file, then you open again another day or after a time. Okay, so when you go there, you have your layers, but your history is gone. That's the problem of the history. When you base and rely on the things that you did on the history, after you close the document, all your history will be gone. So right now, if I want to bring back some part of here, for example, I give this to the client doesn't like it, or I just don't like it, I want to bring back some of this background that it has. What can I do now that I don't have the history? So here the problem, I cannot do anything about it. But if we are using layer mask, we will be able to remove and bring back this part again. So let's show how we're gonna use layer mask. I will open the same document again. Okay, now this time I'm gonna use layer mask. How I'm gonna do that? Basically, when I click on this layer, I have this one, I go here and I click here. Okay, now you can see something created here beside it. So here the simple rule about the layer mask: when it's white here, you can see through it. When it's black, you cannot see through it. So what that means, simply I choose my color black, then I go to my brush and I start brushing. And remember, you are not clicking on the layer. If you do something on the layer, you brush something here, it's just a color add in your image. You have to select here the masking part. You click here. Now you just have black and white, and you simply start drawing black on the top. Okay, you see that areas start to go, to be deleted. For example, make it like that. Okay, see, I can see this black area. That means if this is my layer, this black part cannot be visible. Okay, now this some parts, like this part, it's too much. I want to bring it back. What I'm gonna do, I simply go to my eraser and I erase this black that I add, and you can see the image is returning. So now if I save this file, let's save it as edit 2, and I close it. Then I go back after sometimes, I open it again, and if I want to change this effect that I give here, simply I go click on my layer mask and I can easily bring it back, or I can easily add on. So here the simple rule: if it's black, you cannot see that area. If it's white, you can see behind that area. Alright, so let's also check other things that we actually, part of the lesson that we did other day about our layer adjustment. Okay, if we put a layer adjustment, Okay, for example, I put a color balance layer adjusted at the top, and I make it like this. For example, this color. Okay, as you can see, even my layer adjustment, it automatically has a layering mask in front of it. That means if I want, for example, this filter that we add here, this color balance will be everywhere, only I want to remove it from this part on her eye. So what I'm gonna do, I simply click on the layer mask, I use my black color brush, and I simply color it here. See, right now this filter is everywhere except on her face. Again, if it's too much here, you want to bring it back, you simply go and erase the layer mask. So basically, layer mask is a way to select the things, but in the more professional way. Let's say you select your stuff, but in a layer. It's like your selection creates a layer, and every time that you want, you can just go change any part of the selection that you have. So it's one step more than playing with the history. As you see, I did the same thing in the previous file, in the edit one. We made the same thing, but here I cannot change anything anymore. Yes, of course I have this layer, but I already lost the background, so I cannot bring back the background anymore. But if you have the work on the layer mask, every time you want, you can just simply go and bring the things back. Okay, let's see if you make a right click on your layer mask. Sorry guys. If you make a right click on your layer mask, okay, if you click here on the disable layer mask, you see there is an X coming here. So basically it's like you turn off your layer mask. It's look like you click here and you hide this. So you just hide the layer mask, and if you put on the enable, it will be visible. If you want to delete the layer mask, of course you click here, the layer mask will be deleted. And if you say to the apply layer mask, you gonna make the change forever. Like if you put apply, now my image, my layer become only one. The layer mask, it's completely gone, and this is become only one layer, just as it was in my previous edit. So basically you remove the layer mask completely, but you blend it with your layer. Okay, so that's it. Then there are some selection stuff here. Basically, don't mind yourself with this. It's like you want to select it. For example, if I select this layer, as I say, if you hold the left control and you just select this, you select the full layer, okay, without having the layer mask, okay. And if you basically add to selection, you select the layer mask, and you can see right now I have the whole layer mask selected in the image except this area that is black. So the easiest way is actually you just go here, hold the left control, and you click. So you don't need to actually work with the other options. It's just to select this part that you have in your layer mask. So you can see this black part is not part of it, but this area and this area, which are these two white, they are part of the selection. Okay, that's it. Very, very simple but important tools to work. And there is one more thing. Let us close this. There is one more option. You have it here. It's said actually quick mask, okay? Or if you also press Q in your keyboard, you will enter the quick mask. When you enter the quick mask, you can see here the name will file. It's mask PSD. When you press the Q, it become quick mask. Here is RGB8, here is quick mask. Okay, so when you go to the quick mask, it's simple. You're gonna actually select a part, like I want this part. Okay, now that I have my selection, I press the Q again, and that selection will be part of my masking. You can also make a double click here, and you can choose that when you actually do the work, when you are selecting something, do you want the mask area or the selected area? Always put this one in the selected area. Okay, so when you actually work, it's basically, if you put on the selected area, means if you select this part, this inside is the part that you want. But if you place it in the masked area, when you click something here, that means you want to work area around it. Okay, so that's also one of the area to have the masking, but the easiest one is that you just choose this file here. It's more comfortable than this one. Okay, so it was about the all about the masking. Now we're done with this part. Now I want to talk about the layer panel, guys. This panel that we have here, let's finish everything about this. Actually, you already know everything about this layer panel, but I just want to, let's have a quick review and some small things that I will add on inside it. For example, so this is the layer panel. Let me bring it here. We're not gonna work with the rest of them. Let's put them here for now. Let's see what is this layer panel from up to down. Okay, so first of all, you have this row, which it's actually it's the way to show your layer. As you see, I have lots of layer here. Okay, I have some shape, I have some normal pixel layers, I have a smart object here, I have some text here, and I have also at the top a color adjustment. Okay, so here, if I click here in this part, it's just showing me my pixel layers. As you can see, the rest are hide here. I cannot see my shape layer, I cannot see my smart object layer or the other things. If you click on the in the side, like now I add on also my adjustment layer. So if I click here again, I will also remove my pixel layers. So it's not gonna show. It's not like that you're deleting them, you just hide them from here. So maybe you can find that layer that you want easier, because as you can see, there are too many here. If you click here, you basically just show your text layer. Here only my text layer is showing now. If I remove that, and if I put this one, okay, now only my shape layers are visible, so the rest of them, they are gone. All right, and here also, if you click that one, only your smart object will be visible. So basically, it's just for you to have to sort your stuff. You can also, if you cannot remember these icons, what are they, you can just click here and put, okay, what do you want? You want the smart objects, you want the color things, you want your artboard, you want your effect, or like I click on the effect. Well, I don't have any effect here, nothing will show on. If I click on the smart object, the smart object stuff will be showing on. So that's it. You can just simply change this stuff to what kind of layers become visible here for you guys. So we already talked about the opacity and the fill. We already know that. So we said actually opacity is make the image gone, it become a bit invisible, and the fill has the same effect, but this time I'm not gonna use my blending options, this effect that we have. For example, if I add the drop shadow for this layer, okay, then if I make the fill shorter, lower, you can see my image gone, but the shadow will still remain there. Okay, so the locked, as I said before, if you want to, for example, I don't want to move this layer anymore, I simply lock it here. It's not cannot be moved anymore because the layer is locked. If you don't want, you lock it so you cannot put brush on it or erase it, you can just simply click here on this, or you can also select on the transparent area, or you completely lock this layer so you cannot do anything on this layer. Anyway, we talked about them already. So After that, we go to the main area here. Here I can give you some new tips that we didn't know before. Well, if you right click on any of these layers, some information will come. One of them is adding color on them. Like if I put yellow, it's just a tab yellow come here. No effect in my document. It's just easier for me to find it. For example, if this is my smart object, I can put my smart object red, and I can put my shapes in the yellow. So when I'm working, I can find them easier. You can also select multiply layer at the same time. You just hold the left control and click on the other layers. Now, if I make a right click and make yellow, all of them become yellow at the same time. So you can hide layers if you want. So next thing that is new things, for example, I have these two green layer here. Like if I move this one, for example, I really like the style that the distance that these two have. Now I want to move it little to the left. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move this, then I go select this one, then I move this again. Okay, so it's kind of hassle. If you have lots of layers, then you want to move them all together. It's gonna take time. Sometimes maybe when you move them, the arrangement is changed. So what you're gonna do, you simply click on these two layers that you want to move together. You click here on this chain icon. Now this two has the chain icon. That means if I move any of this object, the other layer will also move. So basically they are still separate layers, but they are chained and locked together. So if I move the one, the other one will be moved. If you want to unchain them, simply you click them, then you click on this icon again. They become unchained, and now you can move them separately. Simple. Now if you want to merge two layers together, for example, I have this black layer here and this other black layer at the top. Okay, now we understand that if you put chain, these two become chained together, but right now I want to really make them one layer. So if they are two, I want them become one layer. What I'm gonna do, I just hold the left control and press E. You see these two layers change to one layer. Control Z, I bring it back. You can also just make a right click. Okay, then you go here, merge layers. These layers that you select, they merge together. Just remember, if you merge a pixel layer with a vector layer, like the shape layer or the text layer or smart object layer, or even with the effect layer, these layer will lose their capacity. For example, if I merge this normal layer with this shape at the top, they become one layer, but I lost my shape. This shape become a pixel layer. So I cannot have the vector effect that I had before. If I change the size of that, it will lose the quality. Okay. Or again, if I blend this layer with my smart object becomes just a normal layer. So careful when you want to merging your layers together. You're gonna lose your special capacity that layer has. Okay. The other thing is, I have this image. I want to actually merge all the layers together, make it a JPEG one. Well, the easiest way is just you go simply save your image as JPEG. Okay, but you can also do something. You just make a right click and go here, flatten image. As you can see, all my layers, they just become one. It's just one single piece of image without any layer. Okay, so those two things were new: how to flat, how to merge, and how to chain it. The other thing is using groups. For example, I have lots of layers here. I can arrange them in a way just for myself. For example, okay, all these shapes, I'm gonna put them in one group. What I'm gonna do, I simply click here and group 1. Okay, you can double click on that one and change the name. For example, I change it to the shapes. Okay, now I just click this my shape layer, and I make a left click on that. Hold your left click and move it here. You can see the icon of the hand is changed. Now if I do that like that, you can see these images, there is a gap here. Now my normal layers, they are like that. They are the one in the group, they are like this. That means if I click here in this icon, this arrow here, basically I close my group of the shape. So the layers are there. I just put all of them in one file. It's exactly look like you create different files in your computer and you make a subfolder inside it. So yep, that's it. I can create another group here, and this time I put my pixel layers on there, and I click it and I leave the rest be outside. You can create unlimited group, no problem. The other thing of the group is if you change the color of the group, for example, here I just make it left, right click, I make it violet. Everything inside the group automatically will change to the violet. So that was also the other important things about the grouping, how to make your layer. Okay, one more thing left here, and this is these options, which it said normal. Let's talk about it. I'm not going to talk much about it because the changes are kind of visible when you're working with that one. I just make you a very fast thing about it, but they are actually useful when you do special things like in the photo editing, in the digital arts, in the web design or other stuff. You're gonna use lots of these options here. Okay, basically you're gonna change how this layer work. For example, right now I just have a normal layer. Okay, everything is normal. For example, if I make it darken, see, it's like effect. Okay, you just simply need to just change them and you can see the different effect. I cannot really right now tell you which of them will work in what place. Okay, just know that this option is here. Okay, and for example, later when you try to do major thing, for example, you choose web design, you are doing the web design, you can see that some in some area they go and then change this. Actually they call it blending option. For example, they change the blending option to multiply. That's one of the things that is really used for the photography, photo editing. Okay, to the multiply and or make it overlay. The overlay is used very, I use it very inside the digital art. Okay, so as you can see, you just go there and click on them and make change. Just know what are the blending option, because later when you are, for example, you trying to learn something about the photo editing, they just go, when they show you the video, nobody gonna talk about how to use these tools. You can see that they do everything so fast, and here maybe they just give you the hint like, hey, okay, if you want to work with this edge of the hair, it's better you create a layer and put the blending more in the multiply. Then when we may say, oh, what is blending more, what is multiply, well, it's here. You just click here and you have the multiply option here. Basically that's what that guy was talking about. Anyway, so they are the blending options. The changes are visible. It's easily, you can see difference between each of these options here. We're not gonna work because we're not gonna talk about them, because this is the basic Photoshop. I just want you guys to learn the basic things, so after that you can move on to the next level. Okay, so right now you know everything about this layer panel, and it's complete. Nothing here left. As I promised you guys, I told you everything about the layer panel. Okay, now let's talk about Artboard. In our first lesson that I teach you guys how to create a new document. If you remember, I said uncheck this. We're gonna talk about the artboards later. Now that's the time, and that's my other promise that I promise you guys I'm gonna talk about it. Now it's the time to talk about the artboard. Okay, just imagine, guys, I'm making something like that. Okay, for example, I have different documents. Just imagine it's in ebook, or it's a brochure, or it's a website. Okay, so you're gonna design different pages of that web, or different part of the brochure, different page for the ebook, or any other kind of stuff. Okay, and well, each of them you create them in this separate documents. Okay, and now just imagine the customer told you come and then say, okay, I want to add this image as a background under all the pages. Okay, like this, for example, I put here, then I make it a small. Okay, and for example, I give also I erase this part. Actually, I've just tried to do it fast, as so I'm not going to take your time, but as I told you guys, it's better if you want to do something like that, use the layer mask. I just do it manually. I just erase it. Okay, now that I did that, he said I want all the images, all the parts have this effect. Okay, so basically I'm gonna do one by one. I just copy it here, I drag my file here, I try to replace it in the good position. Maybe it's go a little up or down or left or right. Okay, anyway, and just imagine the page, the the file or the brochure has like 10 pages. You're gonna do that one by one. You have to open all of them and add this manually on each of your documents. Okay, and when you are working with the brochure, sometimes you want to see all the pages in one place. Okay, what can I do now this time? Okay, that's the time that we're gonna use Artboard. What that means? Okay, let me close these things. When you want to make a new file, you simply click here on the Artboard. That means I want my Artboard. Okay, now here in my layer, as you can see here, it's written Artboard 1. And here in my layer, I have this, it's look like a group. It's not exactly group, because if I add group, there is something like that, but it's like the whole category. It's Artboard 1, okay? Now just imagine I add this color here, and I create a text layer. I make it page 1. Actually, the color is blue, that's why it's not visible. Okay, something like that. Okay, then I'm also gonna put my background here. Okay, like this one. Okay, that's it, I'm done. Okay, now I want to go to the page 2. I already create my page 1. I know that the customer wants like all this background be everywhere, or let's make an example like we don't have the background yet. Okay, just imagine that I'm just create my page 1. Now I want to go to the page 2. What I'm gonna do, I click here in the Artboard, then I go to my Artboard tools, which was one of the tools here, the first Artboard tools. Okay, now you can see I have these icons appear here, this plus. That means if I click here, I create another Artboard just beside it. Okay, you just close the properties. You can change the size of the Artboard if you want. Also, you can make it bigger or larger. For example, this will be my page 2, and I'm gonna make another Artboard here, page 3, which will be a half page, so I make it like that. Okay, that's it. Okay, now I have all my Artboard. Actually, I have 3 documents in one document. Okay, so here you can see I have Artboard 2, Artboard 3. When I'm in the here, simply I duplicate this layer. how we duplicate it? Control J, or we just make a right click and duplicate layer. Okay, so if I put my layer from here, I put it directly to my artboard 2, it automatically goes to my artboard 2, it automatically fit as it is fit here, exactly same dimension will be moved here. Again, I create another one, I put it on the artboard 3. Okay, now my text, I just make a copy, I copy on the artboard 2. You see, this go exactly the same place in my artboard 1. So all I need to do is I change it to 2. Sorry guys, okay. And then I create again another copy, I make it to my artboard 3, then I just go and change the number. So as you see, good thing of that is that you don't really need to change the position of your file. You don't need to really put it here. Exactly whatever happens here, it happens here exactly the same way that I copy. Of course, if right now I move one of them, for example, if I move this text, it's not gonna change the rest of my text, but the moment that you copy it, it will copy the exact position. For example, right now I'm gonna, okay, here I have this image here. Okay, if I make a copy and I put it here, exactly the same position it moves here. Now I do it here, exactly same position move here, which is hidden because it was under the, we crop this image, we say this is a half page, so I can just move it, simply move it up like that. And for each of these artwork, you can have unlimited layers, unlimited groups. So this is the good thing, because when you are working on the website or the brochure, things that they have different pages, if you're just working like in one photo, you don't need really artwork. But if you are using lots of documents that they related to each other, okay, that's how you gonna work with them. You can use the artboard. Actually, this option is only on the Photoshop CC. The previous versions, they don't have it, CS6, and before that they don't have this artboard. But it's not like that. Maybe if you're using the older version of the Photoshop, don't get sad about it. Anyway, it's not important things that it's like, hey, I don't have artboard now, I cannot work. No, it's just something help you more, make the things easier, especially for what do you call that, you look that the whole project that you have, you can easily compare your different pages or different files in one document. So basically, if I save that file and I put it like artboard, okay, that's it. Now you can see I just have only one file, which is artboard, but I have 3 different documents inside one file that I have. So that's it. That's the artboard. I told you guys as I promised. So that was our lesson for today. A quick one, not a long one. See you guys on the next lesson.